right, it's 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting of the Grafton Finance Committee to order. We have a quorum, everybody's here, so we'll get started right away. So the first thing we want to do is update on the progress on the finding a replacement for Sue. So we had several applicants for the position. We were ready to interview 4, and 3 dropped out, and the 4th one at the last minute canceled.
Correct.
So what are we doing? Are we going to re-advertise? Are we going to?
Yep, we'll build that pool back up, and we'll just, well, I just had the same thing happen in another position. We selected 6 candidates to interview and only 1 showed up.
Really?
Wow.
It's crazy.
It's kind of the way the market is right now. But yes,
I was going to say, I think Sue did something to
I think so too.
get them to drop out. Is that true, Sue? No?
I have my ways, I guess.
All right, so we'll re-advertise, and then Barry, Sue, and I will
Yep,
hook
same,
up with you. Okay.
same
Yeah,
process.
I was curious as to why an air traffic controller would want to be the Finance Committee and Affordable Housing Administrator or Secretary.
Less stressful.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that.
Little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. She did work with her and
Yeah, I know.
Martha's Vineyard.
I still want to
was
find out
air
Sue's
traffic
whereabouts
carrier?
the day before they all dropped out.
Yes, Andy's not here.
Oh,
No
I'm
comment.
sorry, we're all not here. Andy will not be here tonight. He sent a last minute email. He had to work late tonight. Thank you for reminding me, Irene. So the next thing on the agenda, thank you, Evan. If you can keep us up to date on it, that would be great.
Yes.
The next thing on the agenda is discussion of the preparation of the recommendation of the Finance Committee for town meeting warrant articles. So I guess there was some feedback received that the Finance Committee recommendations in the warrant weren't as, what's the word I'm looking for?
Explicit.
Thank you. That's a good word. I personally think what we do is fine, but if we need to do something else, what's the pleasure of the committee?
So
Go ahead, Dan.
what we've done in the past is a member of the committee would write up an explanation of what the impact of the article would be and why we think it's good or bad. This time we only had our recommendation for or against. We didn't have that explanation.
Right.
So I think just going back to having a committee member write that explanation, I think is what I would like to see.
Yeah.
Irene?
I agree. That seemed to be missing. Somehow what happened was they simply said, they kind of repeated the motion. The Finance Committee recommends passage of assigning X dollars to whatever without any, follow-up. And that's our charter, is to tell people why we are or aren't recommending something.
I thought there were several articles that we didn't need further explanation. I mean, the motion itself explained
Oh,
everything.
right, some of them
So
are.
I think the majority of them, there were just a couple articles that I felt needed more explicit explanation, and those were toward the end.
So you think
Citizens petitions and some of the others needed more explanation.
so articles that, like, if it says to raise and appropriate $50,000 to buy a radio, okay, we support $50,000, but there's not a lot of explanation is
Right.
needed. But if there's an article that says we think that the town clerk should be appointed, maybe further explanation on those types of articles?
Yes.
Right.
So, that makes a lot of sense, Dan. That makes a lot of sense. And, go ahead,
May-
Barry.
Whatever the recommendation is, Finance Committee writes it. It should be written by the Finance Committee.
Okay.
And say, we recommend for, we recommend against, this is why we recommend for, why we recommend against. And then it's up to town meeting to say, yep, that's cool.
So we got lazy this time and we relied heavily on Evan.
Yeah, I think the very busy management analyst was doing those things when maybe he should be doing management analysis.
Well, actually, it wasn't Evan, it was Blake.
William.
Yeah.
Yeah.
William.
But I'm not gonna put the blame on William.
No, I'm not putting the blame on anybody.
No, not
We
that.
could have all spoken
Right.
up and said,
I personally didn't have a problem with the way we did it, but if there's concern from the taxpayers and the residents that they want more information from this committee, then we should
Right.
give it to them.
And again, I think it was just a miscommunication.
Did William start that rumor that he didn't want?
Absolutely. He was like, this is horrible.
Oh,
I should figure out how
I
to
figured
get
that
rid
was
of
the
this.
case.
I had thought that he was going to be writing them the way we traditionally did, And I was surprised to realize, oh, wait a second, that part's missing. So I think it was a miscommunication.
Well, he wrote them the way I normally write them.
Right.
Is quite honestly, that's how I've done it for 7 years. Was exactly how you saw it
Yeah.
in the warrant. So, if the committee wants to see something different, we zero issue with that, and we can
Yeah.
certainly make that happen.
We'll get back to the traditional ways. All right, that's fine. Will you do me a favor and limit the amount of warrant articles that you bring forward?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be very helpful.
9 would be good because we have 9.
We have 9 members, one
There you
each.
go.
I love that.
All right. That-
But I do agree that the ones that are really self-explanatory, the way that William wrote those, I don't see a reason why we need to change.
And I didn't have a problem with those either.
Okay.
I think
Go
the
ahead,
way
Dan.
we've done it is for the routine, simple ones. Sue has prepared those for us, and
Correct.
then we just review and accept them. And then for the ones where there's really like an opinion to be had, that's when a member writes it and we kind of discuss it if we need to. So that makes sense that I guess Sue could do those or William. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is that it doesn't really matter who writes it up.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But even on those, I'm pretty sure we typically said something like, this is a routine, this is a
Right.
housekeeping, you know. We had a one sentence qualifier.
And this time, we did add some language to some of them, at Barry's
Yeah.
request that says this has no impact on the tax rate, but,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, but
All right, I'm good
and I'll
with
go
that.
back. I would really prefer that the finance committee members
Write them.
write them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Free
we
the rest.
definitely should have the finance committee members like see what they are and then vote to approve them. I think that's what we've done in the past with the ones that Sue prepares for.
Correct.
But I mean, either way, I think I'm fine with
Yeah.
Okay.
either
All
one.
right, so we tried something,
Yep.
didn't work, we'll go back to the way we did it.
Yep.
Sounds
Is that good with, everybody? Go Paul, Angelina, Heather? Go ahead, Sue.
But just to clarify, Dan's comment, Finance Committee does not vote on the recommendations. They vote on the motions or the motion of the article.
We-
And then we just approve.
Yeah, we understand.
Right.
We understood what
Okay.
you were saying.
Just to clarify.
Yep. Okay, any other discussion on that? All right, moving to the next thing, we did receive late this afternoon, a reserve fund transfer request for $7,000. The town received a direct grant from the state for $25,000 to make some improvements here in the municipal center. They want to use that money to put a, window in the building department?
Yes, we're adding a accessible customer service roll
Nice,
window.
nice. So the anticipated cost of the project is $32,000. They have 25, and they need $7,000 to complete the project. It is unforeseen. It just came in the last minute. I think it's an appropriate use of the reserve fund, and I would entertain a motion to approve it. Go ahead, Barry.
$32,000 to smash a hole in the wall and put in the plexiglass? It just strikes me as being expensive.
So there's engineering fees in there too, because that's the center
You have wires
structure of
going
the.
through it?
Yeah, you have other stuff to move. That's got electrical, structural, all the fit and finish and trim. And I do want to just note, I had anticipated absorbing the 7,000 in our maintenance budget, and then late yesterday found out we're now having to replace the hot water heater in this building, which is $21,000. So it's gonna.
I would rather do a $7,000 reserve fund transfer than a
The-
$21,000.
I
reserve
think
fund
if you
transfer.
look at the capital budget, Bob had explained all that
Yep.
in the capital budget of how he was gonna redo the
That's right.
building committee, the plexiglass. So it's all spelled out there.
So, are there any other questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any further discussion? All those by roll call. Sue?
Aye.
Barry?
aye.
Mark, aye. Irene?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Go Paul?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Excellent. I'm glad you got that direct, that was part of the ARPA funds
No,
that they were.
totally separate. We just we asked for an earmark for municipal center upgrades.
Nice.
They gave us 25,000.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Do it.
FY '23,
Mark?
I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, Sue.
Mark, can you please give me permission to sign that off, please? Or do you want to sign that off?
Do we have a copy here? Do you have a
I
copy?
can print it quickly.
I'll sign it.
Okay.
Okay.
Very on the spot. Nice.
Well, they pay me the big bucks.
That's- Absolutely.
Thank you, Mark.
Barry gets 10 times as
Just
much as
send,
the rest
just
of
send
us.
me a copy, please.
You get a percentage of the 7,000,
Oh, that's better.
0%.
Zero, yeah, oh.
Now, don't change that 7 to 17. It's very specific. It's at 7.
No, I was gonna change it to 70.
Oh, 17.
Because you have 75. I'll leave
You're a
you
good
5
administrator. I
minutes.
like
Yeah, there you
that.
Somebody took a picture of it.
So we just a funny story. We have this thing, and I joke around a lot in Groton when I'm doing the budgets. We call it the Haddad Roundup. If the number's 55, I go to 60. If it's, and so on and so
Yep.
forth. So I just had my 58th birthday, and they bought me a card that said "Congratulations on your 60th birthday," and they said we did the Haddad Roundup. So it was very,
That's
it was
good.
very nice.
That's
is
good, I
good.
like that.
So next on the agenda is the FY23 proposed budget. We got to review the figures for the Finance Committee's budget. Sue, do you have that on a screen that you can pop up for us to see?
Sure I do. I've been practicing this for the last half an hour.
It works
There you go.
every time until now, right?
Yes. So this is the Finance Committee, and then I have the Reserve Fund.
Okay, so we're looking
And-
for the same,
What I had done is I had rounded up,
we
doing
like
the
that.
roundup,
Yep.
Mark, to 22 an hour, and I based finance administrative personnel for FY23 at 14 hours per week. And I just did that to get a figure. It's a 19-hour week position, but I didn't know how you were splitting it with affordable housing. So the administrative personnel salary is really the question. The rest, the expenses, I would think would be the same, with the exception that it being an in-house position, it would be a minus the internet reimbursement of basically 2 something.
So the salary, we're increasing in this proposed budget from 11 to 16. Do I see that right?
Correct.
So Evan, how are we splitting the position between the Affordable Housing Trust and the Finance Committee?
I assumed we were gonna be at a 50-50 split and just do this.
Oh,
I don't think that'll work at all, Evan.
Why not?
Not at all, because I think that this administrator is going to be working, assistant administrator is going to be working a lot more with us than they will be with the trust. And come town meeting, there's a lot of preparation that has to go in and a lot of minutes that have to be taken care of. A lot of phone calls, a lot of talking to the department heads. There's a lot of work that has to be done. So a 50-50 split, she's not going to get our work done.
Well, 50-50 split of the cost, right?
Yeah, but the hours, if it's a 50-50 split of the cost, is the Affordable Housing Trust gonna be upset if the Finance Committee dominates more of the time, as Sue points out, during those times of year?
Right, but I had anticipated that other times of the year, they're not doing a heck of a lot for Finance Committee, and they're doing heavily Affordable Housing Trust work. That's kind of how I was thinking about it. If you want to come up with a different split number, happy to.
As long as they're, I understand your point, you make a very good point. As long as we have an understanding with the Affordable Housing Trust that at certain times of the year, we're gonna depend heavily on that person, we're gonna keep it to 19 hours a week, but we'll pay, the 9.5 hours per week for each committee, as long as they understand that certain times of the year, there's gonna be different pulls and tugs on the position.
The original conversation I had with Bruce around the same time you and I were
You and I
talking,
talked,
Mark, that was kind of the understanding,
Okay.
is that it's fits and starts, right? There's a budget season where FinCom is heavy, and then there's other times where projects for the Affordable Housing Trust is heavy.
And there's going to be a lot more minutes that the administrative assistant will be doing for us than the others, so.
Yep.
I guess we'll try it. If it doesn't work, we can always change it.
We can give ourselves a reserve fund transfer.
Right.
Yeah. So let's reduce that number to 9.5 hours a week, Sue, instead of
16.
16, 15 hours a week. And then that will be what we, budget for the position in our budget.
Is
Does that
that
make
gonna,
sense, everybody?
is that gonna work, Sue, 9 hours a week? No?
No, it is not.
You're
I-
misunderstanding, hold on a second. The position is 19 hours a week. We are gonna pay 9.5 hours of it, and the Affordable Housing Trust is gonna pay 9.5. Certain times of the year, we may get all 19 hours. Other times of the year, they may get all 19 hours. Why isn't it gonna work?
Okay.
No, seriously, you said it was not gonna work, so why wouldn't that work?
Well, I understood, excuse me, I understood it as, the 10 hours is what we're scheduled for now and it's not working.
Yeah, so it's gonna be, it's
So
gonna
I
be a
understand.
19-hour week position. We may get 19 hours January, February, March, because that's when we're busy doing the budget. The
Mm-hmm.
Affordable Housing Trust may get 19 hours a week in April, May, and June after town meeting when they're doing projects. And then come the fall for town meeting, there'll be a week that we get 19 hours when we're reviewing the warrant and holding our public hearings. And then there'll be a time when the Affordable Housing Trust gets it. But for the month, this past 2 months, we met once.
Correct.
The Affordable
Compared
Housing
to
Trust has
last
met
year.
more.
Right.
Right, Dan? You
Last
guys have
year
met
was-
more.
Yeah.
So-
If you look at FY '21, and it fluctuates greatly. If you look at FY '21 and FY '20 and 19, we went from 9 to 12 to 14.
Yep.
It was based on the heaviness of the year. And those were extremely unusual circumstances. However, at that 9, which was basically staying at 10 hours a week, 520 hours a year, all the minutes did not get done. So I'm just sharing. I just want our reality to.
So are you saying right now that the decision to share a position with the Affordable Housing Trust isn't a good idea?
No, I'm not saying that.
That's what it sounds
No,
like.
it's really I think it's a great idea. I think that there's going to be a lot of adjusting. And I do think, I had originally, if Finance Committee was staying on with their own position, I was requesting 19 hours a week.
So,
Originally, this is a couple of years ago when we first made the handbook.
so does that mean you would expect that person to be working 19 hours a week every single week, or up to 19 hours a
No,
week?
not at all, Dan.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It's really such a crazy job. For example, if we expected somebody to work 19 hours a week in July and August, in-house, it's a waste of time. Hopefully, affordable housing would have 19 hours a week of work for a minimum of 8 weeks.
With a 19-hour week position, as long as we don't average more than, say, 20 hours a week over a certain amount of time, and Evan, you'll have to, I can't remember what the breakdown is. There may be some weeks that person works 35 hours because it's really busy between the two committees, and there may be some weeks in July and August where they don't work at all. Over the course of the year, they would get paid for the hours that they work, as long as the ongoing average over time isn't more. So
Right.
I think we should try it at the 19 hours. We budget 9.5. Dan, you guys budget 9.5. If it doesn't work after the first year, we'll reevaluate and we'll figure out what we have to do with the position then. But I'm comfortable with 19 hours moving forward. Sue,
Yeah, that's
I want you to be
fine.
comfortable too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Barry?
Yeah, just a question. I could see in the fall and in spring where both positions are putting in hours. And let's say it goes up to 30 total. Does that have any impact on the regulations for paying benefits?
So you can go over, you just can't have a pattern of use of that position. So you can't be at 35 hours for, I can't remember the.
There's a formula
There's
that
a
we have
formula.
to, yeah.
But you just have to pay attention to it. So that you could have a time where they work 40 hours a week for 3 weeks, and then they don't do it again for another 6 months.
Okay.
That doesn't put us up over as a benefited position.
That's why I'm not worried about the, that's why I'm not worried to start, but
Can't remember.
Angelina, Heather, Gopal, do you have any issues with this?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Okay. Gopal, you all set?
Yes.
I also think it's
Go ahead,
worth
Dan.
noting the Affordable Housing Trust. 5 of the 7 members have served on the Finance Committee, so we do know about the Finance Committee's pattern and heavy use of administrative help. So we're aware.
We'll talk, and you can tell us, hey, by the way, you guys are taking up too much time, and our assistant is, not happy, and then we'll blame Evan. And then we'll move on. All right. So I
You've got
entertain,
some hands up.
oh, go ahead, Sue, do you have a question, or is it Angelina?
Angelina and Sue.
I believe it's Angelina. I do not have my hand up.
You do.
So,
Go
who
ahead,
was
Angelina.
who was representing the Affordable Housing Trust? Who was helping them before this?
You
Do
didn't
they
have
not
any-
have an assistant?
So we have minimal help from the planning department, just like posting agendas and meeting materials, and then we contact Cindy to book the conference rooms. That's basically what we're doing now. And in previous years before I got on, it was similar stuff where it was somebody in the planning department. I think for a little bit they had more help from the assistant town planner, and then we cut the assistant town planner, and so it's been kind of sort of a fluctuating situation over there. But it's been this type of situation.
You need the help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially now that we're kind of picking up speed on some projects we're working on.
And in the past, we've spent, like, I'm looking at the actual spending for the last few years, and it's been, so has that been by the actual hours worked for the position in our area? Then, like I'm looking at,
That's totally ours.
okay. So adding another $5,000, $6,000 and adding the Affordable Housing Trust feels pretty reasonable.
But we're not. We're only gonna budget half of the position. And they're gonna pay for half of the position.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That makes sense, though, I think.
When you guys are done with your hands, I get confused if I keep looking up and seeing a raised hand, so when you're done, if you can lower your hands, that would be awesome. Go, Paul.
So how much is the total needed? 16,000?
No, we're gonna need less than 16,000, because we're gonna take
Really?
the hourly rate and multiply it by 9.5 and then by 52.
Yes, but total needed is 16,456, out of it 50%.
It'd be closer to
will come from
20,000.
finance.
It'll be closer to 20,000. The Affordable Housing Trust is gonna pay 9.5 hours, we're gonna pay 9.5 hours. The position is a 19-hour-a-week position,
And what is the hourly rate? Oh, $22.
yes. 10,868 is what we need to budget, thank you, Irene.
From the finance committee.
Correct, and then the Affordable Housing Trust will budget 10,868.
What?
Right.
Actually, sort of.
Thanks.
Thank
Actually,
you.
sort of maybe
Sue, can you lower your hand, because I keep wanting to call on you?
busy. Do both of them.
We'll find out. We'll see if
I
it-
don't think I have my hand up.
Because every time I look up, I see your hand waving at me, and I want to wave back.
I am sorry.
That's okay. No, you don't need to be sorry. All right. So based on that, I think I'm comfortable with the amount of money that we have for the expenses as well. So I would entertain a motion, if there's no further discussion, that we budget 10,868 in salaries. And can you scroll down? 4,000. What's the number for the expenses? 4,300 and 4,525.
Yes.
Thank you.
What
So
has
moved.
been reduced in the expenses? The internet?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
So
which
moved.
makes sense.
yes.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? Oh, go,
Yeah,
Paul.
I have a question. Can
Yep.
we scroll up?
Yep.
So are we saying that we need less money than what we had budgeted, or which was 11,518?
Yes, because we're only budgeting
Yeah,
half
I
the position.
understand. Yeah, so I want to make sure that we are actually reducing the request, or how
Yes,
much money
that's
we need.
exactly
Okay.
what we're doing.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for all the confusion. And Sue, you still have your hand up. Did you want to talk again?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I apologize. All right, so do you also see there, bear with me, I'm sorry, I'm playing the game here. Finance Committee in the past has also added that 20 hours for printing and posting, which is going to go back to that employee. Is that correct, Evan? Once the new position is filled.
What's gonna
So
go-
what we had done is we had added 10 hours. This was, so basically it's 9.5 hours a week, which is 10,868. And then an additional 10 hours for each town meeting, 20 hours for printing and posting 2 times a year.
We should keep that in there.
Whatever you wanna do.
Yeah, let's keep that in
Will's
there.
been doing it and it's not an issue
Oh.
for us to do it.
Do you want to
right?
continue to do that for us?
Yeah, it really,
Then we don't need it, Sue.
Oh, I thought, okay, I thought, Evan, when we talked, in the last time we talked, that was gonna go back to the new employee.
yeah, I have zero recollection of that conversation, but
Okay, okay.
I don't think it's an issue for us to do it in
fine.
house. I mean, Will's working on it. He's going to be combining all your stuff, and he hits print, and we get 200 copies.
Okay.
And we put it around town. It's not-
Let's take that out then.
Sounds good. Okay, I will do that. So,
So it's 10,868 in salaries
yes,
and then 4,525 in expenses.
do you want to take out that 252
Yeah, well,
as well?
yeah,
What's the 252?
for the,
The 252 would be the internet
we don't
reimbursement,
need to
Oh,
keep that.
right,
I would take
because
that out.
that's no longer in there.
Yep.
right.
So is there a
So-
motion? So is the motion,
Yeah, Dan made the motion.
so we're
I
still at
seconded it.
10,868 and 4,525. Everybody, go ahead, Barry.
Question, there was, oh, now I forgot it. A suggestion came up to actually mail either the warrant article with recommendations or just the recommendations to the town folk.
We talked about that, but I don't know if you're ready to do that this year.
To physically mail them all.
Yeah.
We can. It's going to be pricey.
Oh, I would
Probably
hate to
cost
do
about
that.
$5,000,
I would hate to do that.
$5,000 to $8,000
What
to
a
do that.
waste.
All right, so you don't want to do that.
No,
Yeah, no.
Lord, no.
The one thing I have been thinking about is we have people that opt into Code Red for email. We can send them an email with an attachment. For
Great
free.
idea.
That
lot-
I
a
love.
That's
lot
a
less than
great
$5,000.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a
that I
great
love.
idea. Very
I
smart.
like that. That'll
Why the
be
heck am I
funny.
spending 7,000? No, we won't talk about that. Any other questions?
I just happened to be at the Historical Society Museum, and I've been going through old town reports, and I came across one of the mailers. I
We
think
used to
was-
do it.
I think it was 1948 or something. I forget. But it was nicely done. It looked like it would cost a few dollars to do now that way,
Yeah.
but pretty cool.
Most of it would just be filed when they get them.
Yeah. And, I mean, we were
In the recycle
Yeah,
file, is that what
right,
you're
yeah.
saying?
in the circular file. So we were, we can also send a text message for the people that haven't signed up for email that they just click the link and it brings them to
Yeah.
that.
How
page.
many, how many of our residents do you have a count on? How many?
I can sign into it real quick and let you know
Okay.
in a minute.
Right, any other discussion on our budget? Okay, by roll call, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Sue?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Irene?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Go, Paul? Go, Paul, going once.
Didn't
Aye.
they? Oh,
And Heather?
Aye.
Sue, do you have a question?
I did, and that was, the new number would be 15,141, I'm sorry, 10,868 and, 4,273 for, line item 5420, since that would be reduced by $252.
Correct.
yeah.
Yep.
So 15,141.
And then for our reserve fund, we're still looking at 75,000?
The reserve fund is still looking at 75,000.
Do you want more in there?
No, I think that's
75 is good?
Yeah.
All right, is there a motion to support 75,000?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those by roll call, Sue?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Irene?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Gopal?
I,
All right, Evan, it's all yours. Revenue projections, budget priorities.
Mary's gonna jump in on that.
Mary, it's all yours. Sue, do you still have a question? I really
No,
want you to
I'm-
put your hand down.
I'm getting that down. I'm lowering the hand.
Thank you.
Hey.
You're very welcome.
Hi, everyone. So on the revenue projections, it's very, very early, right? So on the local receipts, I finalized our FY22 local receipts in the tax rate recap at 4,800,000. So I've level funded that so far into FY23. What I'd like to do, in next month is run some actuals and then compare those against the FY22 projections and then start analyzing the data and to get some better numbers. The cherry sheet, it's still too early for that. I've noticed, that there's a trend in the unrestricted general government aid that's usually it increases about 2.5% a year. So in FY22, we're estimated at receiving 1,718,000. So I'm expecting that to increase plus minus, 35 to 50,000. I do know our debt exclusion numbers, our debt reserve, and the sewer debt. Debt exclusion is $3,608,243. Your debt reserve will be $42,569, and the sewer debt is $1,741,228. So if you have signed on to ClearGov, you'll notice that there's two sections you can click on. You got your revenue and you have your expenses. So just please note on the ClearGov, the revenue is a work in progress. The town of Grafton, we've never budgeted revenue in the software, so I didn't have any data for them to download. So I had to, quickly give them some numbers for FY22. And so right now I'm just trying to tie those numbers out to my revenue projection sheet and tying that out to the tax rate recap that was just
And that will
finalized.
be your base number to start planning for FY23 in ClearGov?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yep. So percentage wise, you listed a lot of numbers. What are you anticipating for an increase? I know it's early, but are you like a 2% increase in revenues, 3% increase in revenues? What do you think you're gonna see in estimated receipts?
I would say definitely a 2%.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you seeing a rebound in motor vehicle at all?
Yeah, I think we are. I didn't pull any figures before this, but do you have that? in
Yes,
front
I
of you, Mary?
did. I did estimate the revenue a little higher
Hi,
in
Macy.
FY22.
Someone's peeking around your shoulder.
Yeah, that's Macy. Hi, Macy. What did you say, Mary? I'm sorry, I got distracted by trying to say hi to Macy.
Yes, I did. I did estimate that a little higher. I have.
Because we saw a huge increase in the third, because the first two the second and third commitment was the second commitment, and then the third, which was the fourth, we saw an increase, which means people are starting to buy cars again.
Right.
So
Right.
we did bump ours up pretty significantly based on that. So you are seeing an increase here on that, which is good news. Which is
Yes.
good news. Go, Paul. You have a question?
just wanted to know how the businesses are doing in town. Do we know? Means are we seeing a good rebound based on anything that has come in terms of taxes or anything?
What was
like that?
the biggest
Meal tax.
indicator would be the meal. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. The meals tax. How we do in the first meals tax, Mary? Was that a nice increase?
Yes, that has increased. I can get you those numbers. I can get you the motor vehicle and I can get you the meals excise.
Those are the two main ones. If you're gonna see an increase in
Indicators,
revenues, that's where you're gonna see it. So yeah, I would like, if that's okay, Mary, I think the finance committee would benefit from seeing those numbers.
I
Good
also would
question,
like to
Gopal.
see- I also would like to see how much money we have started making from marijuana sales.
$10,000.
Yeah.
Is that what you got, your first pay, your first? pay-
Well, that was due upon them opening.
Oh.
So that's all we've got.
Does the state pay that at the same time as meals and occupancy? Is that how it works?
So we're getting direct pay, correct? From the dispensary.
Oh, so they're paying directly?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's good.
That correct, Mary, right? Same way we
Yes.
were doing it before. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
good.
did you
Just get it
say
straight in.
So they don't even send it to the state and the state pay you back, they're paying you directly?
Direct.
So they've been open for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month?
Since the 25th of October, I think. So just shy of a month.
Okay.
Alright, so
and
it'll
how
be
much
interesting
are
to
we-
see how that, you
Yeah,
got
and
one, but.
I think that I think it's quarterly payments, if I
Oh,
remember
they'll pay you
that,
quarterly
at HCA.
anyway. They're
Yep.
still gonna pay you quarterly
Yep.
anyway, okay.
Yep. But it was 10 grand as like a, I don't know, I guess a bonus fee at the beginning or
Yeah.
something.
So 3 years ago, we estimated, how much, 175 or 300, no, $360,000 3 years ago?
Yeah.
We estimate, right?
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we estimated 360,000 3 years ago, and we just got 10.
There you go.
Hey, it's in the right direction, Mary. Go ahead, Sue.
I just wanted to ask Mary, have you looked at the history of our assessments on the cherry sheet? I know they go up a little bit every year, but are you anticipating any one thing that will be a jump?
Let me pull up.
You're asking Mary to up her projections is like blood from a stone. Trust me. I've been doing it for 6 years. It just doesn't.
Mary, you budget like I do. Very good.
Yes.
Keep it up.
The thing that worries me with the cherry sheet
Yep.
is your assessments. And you have your school choice assessment and your charter school
Right.
assessment. And those are always hard hits. So in FY21 we had 254,000. FY22 I have 303,000.
Right.
So it's really it's a playing game. Like they'll increase your chapter 70, but then on the flip side they
Yep.
increase your assessments.
Assessments. And I've noticed that our assessments have gone up every year for the past 5 years, so on this, for the school, for their,
Yeah, but aren't
School
those dependent on the number of students? In other words,
Yes.
so if the number of students was to go down, unless the assessment really, jumped, our numbers should go down.
Yes, they should be
Okay,
going down.
Right, so my only reason for asking that is, I do know that there were some parents that, abandoned the public schools during COVID, that I think are coming back. Now that everything is straightened out and the kids are back in school. And again, it's anecdotal, it's just from listening to people.
but the assessments are for school choice and charter schools.
Right, but like I said, I think some of the people that left to do that are gonna come back, especially the school choice.
That'll be beneficial.
Yeah, so we can't promise it, but I'm hoping for.
So you won't know those exact numbers until
Cherry.
February when the governor releases his original budget. And that usually is not the final number.
No,
until
Right,
next
yeah.
July, so.
But it gives you a pretty good
Gives you an
indication,
idea.
about
Gives you an
half a
idea.
percent either way.
So, all right, does any other questions on the way Mary's doing the projections?
No.
What are your priorities?
Priority's gonna be to add at least one officer, to the police department. And then I think that's kind of it as far as what we've dealt with priorities. The select board is doing their goals right now, so I'm kind of trepidatious to see what those firm up as. But PD is gonna be pretty high on our radar. I think
What's the cost of adding it, like
It's
100,000?
like 100K. That's the number.
That's
I'm
all
using.
in benefits and,
Yep, that's what I'm using currently, and we're trying to do 5 in 5 years, or faster. We'll see how that plays out.
Okay.
But we're we're probably
We're way under what we
We're
should
way
have for
under.
patrol.
Oh,
way
yeah.
under. I mean, you should probably, we have 20, well, we're just about at 22, because I did add one already. So, I'd like to be at 30, but, you know, that's a big nut. So, coming up with some strategies of how to get there. But 25 would get us to a reasonable number, 30 would get us comfortable.
One of the things that I messed up, we added 4 firefighters a few years ago. And what I didn't account for was the Middlesex County retirement hit for the group 4. And all of a sudden, I had a 14% increase in 2 years after I hired them.
Yep.
So pay attention to that. I'm sure
Yep.
you know that, but just caution, pay attention to the hit that's gonna happen, because it ended up hitting me like $180,000
Yeah.
out of like.
And then you got to try to scramble to try to figure out where they're
Exactly.
coming from. Yeah, absolutely. So that so far that's our biggest.
I think that's a
priority.
great priority.
I will, so this is how I generally budget, and this is the first time we've been through it from scratch. So once the department heads have uploaded their stuff into ClearGov by December 17th, the next step is all the department heads and Mary and I get in a room. We budget together. Everybody's in the room together. We pull up every single budget. We go line by line. We talk about why we're doing things, and that helps develop the priorities.
Good.
Because there shouldn't be just my priorities or just Mary's
Buying
priorities.
from all the departments.
Yeah, have them drive the train on where we're trying to get to, and then also keeping in mind where the select board wants us to go. How do we get there, and that'll define some of our goals. But
Go ahead, Irene.
Okay. I'm not sure if this is, I don't know when else to ask it or say it. As you talk about wanting to add a police officer every year for 5 years. Grafton's a lovely place. I think we all know that, but we are not immune to various, social ills. And I do know that some of what our police officers are responding to are domestic incidents and, drug overdoses, drug use problems. Would it perhaps be that one of these, quote, police officers is not a police officer, but a
Social
a social worker or somebody of that nature rather than a traditional
Yep.
police officer?
that is something that Chief Crapo and I've talked about on the periphery. I don't want to oversell the conversation, but
Right.
there were some different grants that were out there or opportunities for us to pursue that
Okay.
model, and it's definitely something to talk about. My concern with I think 2 officers on the road for 20,000 people is
Ridiculous.
absurd.
Yeah.
And to your point, when the domestics are typically the most dangerous call that they go to.
Right.
You should have 2 people on scene minimum every time. And when there's only 2 people on the road and you get 2 calls back to back, which we do, now we're making a choice of officer safety versus
Okay.
the time it takes us to respond.
Okay.
So I'd really like to see us get up to that mandatory minimum of 3 on the road. And then it's always, if we can go from 25 to 30 over time, however long that takes, that gives us a pool of people to.
I think
Yes.
it's an important priority. I'm glad you guys are addressing that.
If I may,
Please. of
what
course.
is driving it? The town population in general or crime statistic?
No, town population in general, and the FBI has staffing numbers that they like you to see, which is like
We should be at 30 in this town.
We should be at 30.
Yeah.
With 20,000 people, you should have 30 officers.
Wow.
And we don't. We're going to be at 22. So, luckily, Grafton is a quote unquote fairly quiet place. It's not immune to that. If you listen to the scanner, which I do quite often, we have some pretty major things that happen here, and some really important calls. So I just think we're behind the curve in our thinking of how many people you need to have on the street, because it on a regular day 2 is fine. They're doing fine. It's not crazy. It just takes that one day.
Yep.
And we do have busy days. You listen, and there's days where they're just one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And look at what we're adding. We're adding all those units at 8 Pine. Then we're trying to add units at 27 Upton. We're going to be more than 20,000. So to get us to 30, we're still going to be behind the curve by the time we get there. So that's my personal priority.
Have you talked to the board about it?
Yes,
So the board has buy-in?
I have, right? Yep. board's all in. Colleen,
It's important, it's important that the board support it as well. 'cause-
no, it is, we started talking about it really early.
Good.
You know, this year even.
Excellent.
So,
I think Norm, every time he comes before the finance
He
committee,
does.
always mentions that he would like extra officers,
Yep.
and he always puts it in these little budget
we,
presentations.
we have two, new hires, both female, so we'll be up to 3 female officers.
Nice.
Which is,
That's good.
I think according to the chief is the highest ratio we've had of
Yep.
female officers, so and he's very cognizant of trying to push that, so. it's-
I like that. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
In terms of the process to review the budget through ClearGov, you want to walk us through how you, I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead.
So, kind of going off of what Irene said, kind of taking a step even further back with these domestic incidents, has there been any talk about any kind of preventative sort of solutions, like, for example, we have the senior advocate at the senior center. If we had somebody like that who focused on families,
Yeah.
That might help to kind of prevent some of those domestic violence or overdose type of situations.
Yep. So, no, not yet. I don't want to overstep any conversations that the chief has or plans. I think we should probably ask those questions when the chief is here. I'll have those conversations with him beforehand, but to my knowledge, we haven't talked about that specific avenue of how to do that.
But it is a worthy conversation without question.
No,
Yeah.
no doubt. I don't believe I've had that with Chief Crapo, and I don't want to overstate anything that we've talked about. So, I think that in my experience, Chief Crapo's pretty progressive on that stuff and willing to have that conversation. So I think it's definitely worthy of further comment, but I just don't want to say something that he didn't agree to.
Right.
I don't blame you.
Not that I've ever done that 10 or 15 times.
Yeah, that's. Any other questions on budget priorities? All right, moving on to the process of reviewing the budget through ClearGov. You want to walk us through that?
Sure. So we'll have our initial upload in there by the 17th. Mary and I then we do our first crosswalk of correcting stuff and making those initial phone calls of what are we doing here? Is this a type? We clean up all that stuff. So, and Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, but it'll be fully ready to review in January. That the reviewers can start going in and you can see it at any time. Let me back up one step. Sorry. As we're inputting this stuff up till the 17th, you can see it in real time as they're updating it. So you can watch that whole process as it goes.
It's dangerous, though,
Yes, because it's not final stuff. We're
and
gonna
then you may have something in your head which will hurt.
right.
I appreciate the opportunity to look at it,
Yep.
if you want to see it, but I would be real careful as you do, because you're gonna be adjusting numbers
Absolutely.
right up until you say release.
Yep.
So,
So
I just
in-
wanna caution everybody to be careful.
We did that anyway. It's all, the numbers always change.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the drop dead date per the charter would be, we've calculated it out to February 2nd.
And that's when we have to have it.
That's when you have to have it. We're targeting the middle of January to have a clean document that we can say, start reviewing, you can add notes, you can add questions, you can do whatever you want. We're gonna be pretty firm on our numbers by the middle of January.
Okay.
That's our target. Knowing full well that there's probably gonna be things that change after that, like we always do, as new revenue numbers come in, as things change, stuff pops up. We always, we have some flexibility there, but I think our target is middle of January. Is that correct, Mary?
Yes.
It is now, right?
That's the right answer, Mary.
Yeah. I try to, the whole time I'm answering, I'm just staring at Mary's little box on Zoom like, okay, am I stepping in it or am I correct?
No, we'll have it all ready for you by mid-January. We'll have a budget day with all the department heads in the first week of January to review the budget with them but do take Evan's caution that the numbers will continuously be changed.
Exactly.
Yep. Evan, have you been keeping in communication with the school department with Jay?
Yeah, really high level at this point.
Yeah.
Jay had reached out to me about, you know, the kind of allotment number, and I do, you know, like Carter last year did the 60-40, and those are your hard numbers.
Right.
I don't really work that way. I want to see what the school's need is, and then back in from there. So he's aware of that.
I think the next meeting, November 30th, they're having their preliminary budget presented,
Yep.
so,
Yep, and I plan on attending that and
yeah.
you know, supporting Jay through that process.
Excuse me.
I was plowing through the line items in ClearGov. I love doing this stuff. But I noticed a long list where it was the same label for every number, every one. The numbers changed, but I didn't know what the heck the labels were supposed to be referring to.
I did not notice that when I was in there. We'll have to
Okay.
check it out. It could be a glitch, or it could be that the spreadsheet that we were using didn't correctly label them, and then the system didn't pick it up. So there will be, especially this first year, there's going to be things that are a little wonky that we're going to find as we
There'll
go.
be bugs in the first
Oh yeah.
time too.
When we did this in Munson, Mary and I, the first year it was, you know, you got some kind of embarrassing moments because it looked fine when you first did it, and then I don't know, you know, somebody's, what's this money? I have no idea. It totally disappeared. So we're going to work through the kinks year one, and it's going to be great. You'll love the final.
I like the idea of the way you're gonna put this together, work cooperatively with your staff and everything. Sounds like a really good process.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun too. It really does make it, gives people buy-in and understanding of what other departments are grappling with and what they're doing. But we usually do it. We'll buy everybody lunch and, you know, try to make it a team building exercise at the same time.
What I like about it is that you're going to be communicating to the departments as to why or why not this can't go into their budget.
You mean not
Because
surprising them later?
in the past, they've looked at their budget and didn't know why something was cut.
Yeah.
So I think the communication that you're doing with them is going to be a real change for them, and they're going to really appreciate it.
And then that way you get buy-in
Yep.
in your budget priorities, as you said. So it's a really good
Yeah.
process, Evan.
When we did the same process, Mary and I have done this, and the great part is when it hits the fan later and we say we got to find 20 grand, and I send out an email to every department head and said I need you to help me find 20 grand, they'll find me 60, because they've been in the process the whole time. They know that there's only a finite amount of money. They understand that other departments have needs that are parallel to or paramount to their,
Right.
you know, their own departments, and they start to you know, work more collaboratively, and it's a lot of fun to watch that happen. So
That's
I
I'm
awesome.
think
excited
that's
about it.
great.
All right, so we'll look forward to you'll look forward to getting a lot of comments and calls from Barry.
Yep.
As you put the numbers in.
That's Mary's job.
Mary, you'll get a lot of calls from Barry.
Yeah.
And then
Just set
the
me
rest
up
of us
with
will
it.
jump in January.
Yes.
Set me up with a desk and a monitor. I'll take care of all this for you.
We flipped the coin, Barry. You have to be down in her office.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And I'm sure she'll go running out of there screaming, but you know, what the heck.
Just make sure she gets her work done. Don't bother her so much.
Is there anything else you want to
I'll be
cover
doing
on the budget for FY23? Anything else we need to know?
I don't think so. You know, it's
It's
early
early.
days.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to watch this process roll out. I'm
Awesome.
excited to be doing this in a new place.
Awesome. We look forward to seeing your first budget that's yours from start to
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah.
You did a good job picking up last year's budget halfway
thank
through.
you.
Be nice to see you with the entire thing.
Yeah.
So review and discuss the upcoming meeting schedule of the finance committee, and then the plan for the finance committee members for review for of the department budgets. In terms of our schedule, Sue, do you have proposed dates? From last year? Is there something you want to recommend to us in terms of meeting? In terms of departments, I want to keep the same departments I've been doing for the last 4 years. It's easier for me to continue to do that selfishly.
It's easier for me too.
This
so.
is probably a good time for the announcement.
Oh. We will pause now for an announcement. Irene, the floor is yours.
I am very sadly going to be resigning as of tomorrow from Finance Committee. My new job is with a regional vocational technical high school. We have 10 towns. There's not a chance that I can be presenting to 10 towns to their select board and or finance committees, and I have to attend their town meetings and also be, you know, giving the time and effort that it requires, you know, to be doing our budget as a member of the finance committee. I was looking at the schedule that Sue had in fact provided to us. It's in an Excel spreadsheet, PS. And I was almost gonna, oh no, I can do this. No, I can't. Again, it's not one town, it's 10. That's the disadvantage to a regional district. A lot of things are wonderful. Love my job. But it just means that the probability of my missing definitely the Wednesday night meetings, probably one of the Saturdays, is too high, and that's just not fair. So I will submit my resignation effective as of tomorrow. And I want to do it now so that there's enough time to do a search and come up with a new finance committee member who'll be ready to go, during the crunch time. But that's obviously going to affect the allocation of the departments. So I'm sorry, guys.
Well, if I can say, Barry, Sue, and I have worked with you the longest, and it has been a pleasure. And you've really been a great member of the committee, and you've served us well. And so I wish you I'm going to miss working with you, but I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thank you. Maybe someday I'll be back, but
That would be good, because you've been a great asset.
oh
to
yeah,
this
I
committee.
really would. I can't take that chance. Now,
Right.
once I get through this a couple of years, maybe I'll find out it's not so bad and I'll come back. But I don't want to take that chance. That's just not right to leave you guys in the lurch in the middle of March.
Understood.
Thank you for serving, though. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that seasonal demand is the exact same season as our
For
seasonal
everybody,
demand.
right, for everybody,
so-
yeah.
It has been a pleasure, Irene, although I cannot imagine going to 10 town meetings, dealing with 10 finance committees.
Oof, I know.
Hey,
Blackstone has 13.
Those
I
are
was
the
just gonna
nightmares
say
I have
that,
to
yeah.
wake up.
So in terms of filling Irene's vacancy, Evan, I would ask you to please advertise
Yep.
the vacancy.
Yep.
The way it gets filled now, our charter has been amended. It is appointed by a 3-member committee made up of a member of this board, the moderator, and the town clerk. We'll have to pick a member of this board to represent us on the screening committee. There were 2 other applicants, Evan, and Cindy
Yep.
should have it in the file.
Yep.
That applied the last time. We'd like to reach out to them
Yep,
to see if
we
they're
will.
still interested.
Yep, we have.
Okay, well, am I the only person from precinct 2 or are there 2 of us?
Barry's in precinct
Barry's
2.
too.
Okay, so in that case,
It'd be any
my replacement
precinct.
can be
Be
from
any-
anywhere.
yeah.
Although, we're re-precincting, is that gonna affect any of us?
Uh,
We'll have to check that out. We'll have to check.
you'll, if it doesn't, you'll get a letter.
Yeah.
I,
Then we'll be able to tell us,
And-
hey, by the way, we're no longer in the precinct we
exactly.
represent.
Yep, I would do it that way.
And they usually don't eliminate us, because I've had that done once when they've changed the precincts, because I've been back and forth in precincts. And
You're right on the border?
yeah, so I get pushed back and forth, but they don't ask you to step down, so.
Okay, well, the reason I'm bringing it up, not to have to step down, but say all of a sudden Barry gets knocked out of precinct 2, we would have to fill a precinct 2 position.
Right,
Yeah.
That's why I
correct.
just wanna be
That's
careful
correct.
on that.
Yep.
So if this is open to everybody, that's great, because when we,
Easier.
filled one position, we had to take it from a certain,
From a,
position.
right,
Yeah.
a named precinct.
So, Evan, once you get the applicants in, let us know. Do we want to pick our representative on the screening committee, on the appointing committee tonight? Because I'd like to be that person. I think as chair, I'd like to be able to do that if it's
think-
okay with this committee.
I think when we discussed this, it was going to be chair, town moderator, and the town clerk.
Unless the chair was up for reappointment that year.
Right.
Okay.
I think
Right.
we did change it to be just a
Any
member
member.
appointed.
Did
Yep.
we? Okay.
We did.
Yeah, but
Okay,
I mean, that doesn't mean it can't be the chair.
yeah.
So if Heather, Angelina, Gopal, is that all right with you?
That's fine with me.
Okay. All right, so Evan, just keep us posted, let us know how you make out, and we'll schedule that meeting, and we'll see if that process works.
We will,
And if it doesn't, you can all blame me, because I was the one that recommended it.
we will.
So back to the meeting, back to the thank you, Sue. I knew you would. You're funny. Back to the meeting schedule. Sue, do you want to put it up on the screen so we can take a look at it,
Absolutely.
please? I should have said please, I'm sorry I didn't.
No, that's okay. So this is all obviously tentative and just for review.
Yep.
So, I'm proposing that we would begin meeting. Evan, did you say February 7th? For the,
second is
presentation?
our drop dead.
2.
Yeah.
February 2.
Groundhog Day. Isn't that Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
It is.
okay, so that would be changed to February 2nd, is what I'm proposing. Are you seeing this?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
No,
Great. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right.
So the schedule of dates,
There it is.
there we go.
tentative, so that's this is the tentative schedule of dates right here. So starting with today, so the meeting would go to begin February 2nd, since discussion if we need to meet further in December or January. I didn't know if there was anything,
I don't
Like a
think there's anything. Are
Tricom?
you gonna need us to do anything with? Okay, so
I don't think so, no.
you guys can take the holidays off, and so now we're looking at February 2nd. Now, what's your plan in terms of the release of the budget? Are you gonna do a formal presentation of the budget to the selectmen and the FinCom jointly? Are you?
I would like to. Do
I would like to do it jointly, so you don't have to do it twice.
Me too.
Okay. So that'll be a date to be determined by you. We have to have it physically when you present it. That's what you have to determine.
Yep.
So if you can give us some advance notice with dates, because I would like to make sure that as many FinCom members as possible can be at that
Yeah,
meeting.
absolutely. Mary and I will work on
Okay.
that when we want to do that.
And then Sue,
Well,
we want to start doing our
yeah.
budget reviews that first Saturday in March.
that's my anticipation. To back you up a little bit, Mark, that's make sure we get plenty of notice for that meeting date, since that's a legal posting of the
Yep.
finance committee for the presentation.
Yep, that's it. Thank you, Sue, for saying that. That's a good, I should have mentioned that. Yep.
Okay, so the second is tentative. It could be prior to. Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right, and then with that date being a little earlier than what we had been anticipating, I put out these dates mirroring last year, but a little bit sooner to give us plenty of room to have some space before we start with the public hearings for the town meeting warrant.
So that still gives us about a month from when we get it from Evan and then when we start meeting so that we can have our discussions with the departments.
right,
And that's
Right.
enough time for us, right?
right, it usually is.
Okay. All right, excellent. All right, those dates look fine. Does anybody have an objection? Irene, do you object to any of those? I'm just kidding.
Sue, you'll send those dates out to us, correct?
Yes, with the
Okay.
exception of the Wednesday or the February 2nd one.
Right.
All right, perfect.
It's actually a Tuesday.
And then which departments did you have?
Conservation,
Okay.
Yep,
EDC,
yep.
and library. I think that was it.
All right. I'd be happy to add library to my list.
That's fine. I would like to just stay with Paul for DPW,
Yep,
for fire, for sewer,
yep.
and for, what was the other department he has?
Cemetery.
Oh, that's.
Parks.
Yep, that's
Okay.
all part of the highway department.
Gotcha.
And then, please, if someone wants to take the police, that's fine with me, but I can take it. Police department.
So did you say fire?
Yes, because Paul is interim, he'll be handling the budget.
Okay.
I'll take police. I'll
Okay.
give up library and I'll take police.
Okay,
Somebody want to do library? Dan?
I think it's probably better if I don't.
Oh,
Just-
oh,
as
understood.
Allison works.
Do you want to take
Not-
library?
Not officially.
Okay, I'll take the library. I've been in it. It's very nice.
Beth is always very well prepared too.
So Gopal and Angelina, the way we usually do for your, this is your Gopal, is this your first year through the budget?
Oh,
No,
Nope, the second.
Second,
second.
Did
year.
you do budget meetings with departments last year?
Yes.
You did?
I was with the library.
Oh, okay, all right. So Angelina, this
I
is
can't do
your,
the library either because my wife works there.
oh, that's right. Well, Barry's got that covered. So Angelina, this is your first year through it. So if you want, you can tag along with my departments. I do school, I'm gonna do police now, and then Evan, and treasurer and town clerk. So if you wanna jump on board with those departments with me to walk you through, you can, I'll let you know and you can join me. Is that okay with you?
Yes, thank
still
you.
here? Okay.
Am I being assigned anything? I just want to make sure if I didn't hear it or not.
Well, you know, we have to assign Andy and,
He's
well, Andy's gonna be with me,
DPW.
And then your new member.
and then we're gonna have a new member. Wait, go Paul, once we get the new member on board, we'll revisit it and we'll assign departments at that point?
That's fine.
All right.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
No, you didn't miss anything. All right, perfect.
Gopal, you had
So who
cable
has,
oversight.
excuse me, Mark, who is taking Irene's conservation, sewer, and EDC?
Sewer is gonna be,
I'm gonna take sewer,
sewer's gonna be
since
Sue.
I'm gonna be meeting with Paul anyway.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we need somebody to take on conservation and economic development committee. Is there a volunteer, Dan?
They're easy.
Yeah, sure.
Gopal,
I
since
slid that
you're
right
the
in.
EDC rep,
They're very easy.
Yeah.
Budgets.
since Gopal is the
think
EDC rep, do you want him to do that?
That would make
Do what
sense.
again?
That was one of the reasons I did. it.
Right,
Why don't you have Gopal do EDC? Yeah, so Dan, you just have to do conservation.
Okay. Yeah,
Alright,
I
perfect.
think mine are pretty light already.
Sue, I'll take council on aging again, since I had it for several years. I'll stick with that
Yes.
too.
Evan, when I sit
And
down
town
with,
planner?
the police chief.
I'll take
I'd like
town
you to
planner too.
Sit in on that one, because we're gonna be talking about the budget priorities, and
Absolutely.
I'd like you to be there as part of that discussion.
Yep, 100%.
And then when I sit down and go through your stuff, you better be ready for some tough questions.
I will be.
You've never met with me before.
I will be. I'm gonna bring the chief with me.
That's a good way to do it. Angelina, you're in for a lot of fun.
Now, just Angelina, did you attend any of the online AFTCA or whatever it was? Anyway, the
Annual finance.
yeah,
committee.
the annual finance committees of Mass, the evening sessions.
No, I didn't.
Okay, I think they're available. I think they available to be viewed. Barry, did you attend the one where
Yeah.
they talked about
They
how
sent
to
the-
do a budget?
I was in the first two. I just have the recording for the third
Yeah, I'm
one.
trying to remember which one that was. Anyway, might be worth having the new people watch that.
Well, they may have to go to the website to do that, because the links were only sent to the people who paid
Okay.
and attended.
Right.
Okay.
So they can go to the finance,
Yeah.
the MMA website to find all that.
Okay.
So
Yep, go ahead, Sue.
I'll send out this as I have it, the schedule, or the assignment of folks as I see this. And then if there's any corrections, you can just let me know.
Perfect.
And, do you want this to be sent out early, to the department heads?
Well,
Shall I wait till
wait
like
till you hear
December
back.
7th?
Wait till you hear back from all of us to make sure they're fine, so that they know who's gonna be contacting them. Just in case there are any
Correct.
changes. Yeah, once we sign off on it, and by the way, just do not reply all. Just send to Sue.
Right.
Yes, I agree. No, I
Right.
don't agree. I don't wanna violate the open meeting law. So,
Right.
yeah, once that, give us a week to get back to you, and then if nobody gets back to you, that means we're all happy, and then off it goes. Is that all right with everybody?
Okay.
Is that good? Okay. All right,
Wonderful.
go ahead. Anything else? Sue?
No, that's great.
Okay.
No, we're in great shape. Thank you.
In terms of the town report, I have to tell you, I have not seen it. If you sent it to me, I missed it.
Oh,
Did you guys see it?
Yeah, I did.
You all happy with it? I
No, I
trust
mean,
all of you.
I
Yep,
put
we
it
read
together.
it.
I'm happy with it.
Is it Heather, you're happy? Go Paul, you're happy? Angelina, you look real happy. Are you happy?
the last couple of years, Irene has done such a great job, and I think Dan's been spun off of her words and the subject matter.
Oh, Dan, no wonder you saw it. You wrote it.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Dan.
He
I think it's
did.
great.
He did the Word document, and it's. I think it's It's fantastic.
I think we reviewed it at our last meeting that you weren't here, Mark.
That's probably why I didn't
Right,
see it. Okay.
Right.
Not my version.
No,
Okay.
not this. This is Dan's version.
How many more paragraphs did you put in, Dan?
I tried to take some out in addition to adding some in. I think it's a net increase, but I think it's I think it's good.
Are we gonna get yelled at by the town administrator for taking up too much space in the town report?
I'm never gonna read it.
Are we paying by the page or by the word?
It is fine. However you'd like to submit it, we will.
All right, do we want to have Sue, do we usually vote to approve it as presented?
We do, but have you all looked at the
I'm
numbers?
fine.
and-
I trust this committee. If this committee says the people that reviewed it said it's good, I'm happy. I don't have any issue with that.
And yes, we do. We vote on it and then I submit it to
All right.
Cindy.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the town report as drafted by
So
Dan.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
So Dan, you wrote this one?
I mean,
Some of it.
I modified Irene's, so it's
Oh, okay.
it's collaborative.
So I have,
I think Irene based it off of earlier ones too. I was looking
Yes,
back
I
at the
did.
previous
Oh,
year.
yeah.
We
So
always base them off an
Yeah.
earlier one.
it's what's the word? Various artists or something.
Yeah, something like that.
because I have a minor typo.
Oh,
Where? What do you got, Barry?
In the second page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about the seventh paragraph, a major factor behind the ongoing steep increase.
Next page, Sue.
Yeah, keep going. Next paragraph. Next. Do a search on slow and slowing. Is that it? Yeah.
Right here.
yeah.
Tax is the slowing. Take out the slow.
I think that was Irene's.
Yep.
All right.
I like,
Oh,
You're right on the
I
bus
like-
at your last meeting.
I like your first paragraph, Dan.
Thanks.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in
All right,
favor by roll?
is that what you want right there?
Yeah.
Is the slowing increase?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call, Sue?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Irene?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Go, Paul.
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Irene, for getting that done. We have a set of minutes for Monday, October 18th. I'd entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I can't.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call, Sue?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Irene?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Go, Paul.
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Declare that a unanimous vote. We have an outstanding bill internet reimbursement for the past month in the amount of how much, Sue?
$63.
In the amount of $63. I'd entertain a motion to approve that bill.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? All those in favor by roll call? Sue?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Irene?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Go, Paul.
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
All right. Updates on the committee, the Association of Town Finance Committee Annual Meeting Feedback. Anybody care to offer those attend? We had
Well-
several people attending, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I think the first one was really excellent. The other two were kind of, the last one was, I wasn't that interested in it. But I did want to ask Evan about the ARPA money because they discussed that with our first lesson session and sent out a link for our numbers. And they said we were getting 5 million and we've received, I think they said somewhere around $780 or $800,000.
No, we've received almost 2.2 million so far.
Well, we received almost 2.2. Well, then the numbers are not caught up with
Yeah.
what they sent out to us then.
Yeah,
But
and our final allotment should be about 5.5 million.
5.5 million. will
And
be
they'll
it.
pay the rest of that money by next summer, right?
Yeah, 2 tranches. So I think we finished our first tranche, and then next summer is the second tranche.
So if you don't mind jumping ahead, Heather, you guys had your first meeting last week. Do you want to update us on that?
Yeah, we actually had it 2 nights ago. Yeah, I mean, Mary and Evan were both there. Mary gave a great presentation of the categories of what we could
use the money for. And Evan and Mary also put out a request to all the department heads, asking them basically just, if you had $10 million, if you had all the money in the world, what would you want? What do you need? So that list has been compiled, kind of put into those buckets that we're allowed to use the money for. And we also went ahead and we are going to hire a consultant
Oh, that's a great idea.
to help us to vet out projects if we're allowed to use them, as well as maintaining and doing and all the steps, making sure that we're doing everything that needs to be filed with the federal government, making sure that we're crossing T's, dotting I's, all that good stuff. Yeah, that's what
Any
we're meeting.
interesting sewer water projects that we're thinking about? Any DPW type
I-
projects?
Yeah, there's a number of them, and the list is very long and distinguished, which was great because my bigger fear is that you don't get any projects from people, and that
You don't want to
just-
turn any
Is that-
money back.
No.
Here's our list.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah.
That is a
Long list.
that is a long list.
So, but it's good. It gives us something to work with, right? And the one thing that we noticed, we did not get any input from fire, so we're circling back on that. And then we didn't get any water, any feedback from the water districts because we didn't ask them. And
Oh, we
that- so
should.
that- we should, yes, absolutely. So that's a error on our part, or an oversight. So we're going to circle back to that. But I think we've got some really neat ideas in there. There's a lot of economic development stuff
Awesome.
in there. What dovetailed nicely because the planning department just finished a local rapid recovery grant to look at North Grafton and some the area over by Roney Park and all of that. And there's some good economic development strategies that came out of that can also probably be applied elsewhere.
Revenue loss of the 5.5. How much are you assigning to revenue loss?
We're working on that. We're probably close to 5.5, I would think.
Okay. Awesome.
Look at,
Awesome.
Look at, you gotta see now. You gotta look at Mary and see if that was the right thing to say.
Mary, was that the right thing to say? Irene, do you have an update on the library?
Okay, so the library, as we know, is open, after any number of fits and starts.
I'm hearing the feedback is phenomenal.
Oh, the library, no question, that library is gorgeous, spectacular. If you haven't been, you are missing out. Get over there. I've gone for a couple of events. It is packed. I went for something else, and there was at least one person in every single area. In children's and young adult, in adult, in the reading room. It is going to be used and used well. It was very, very much a great investment. It's not quite over. There's always the last few things. I've had to miss the last 2 meetings because wouldn't you know that the school committee for my actual district, the Volk School is its own district, is the first Monday of the month. Guess when the library building committee meets?
That's why I could no longer serve on
Yeah,
that
so
committee.
this is part of why, among many other things that I decided I just simply had to give this up for a while. So whoever wants to take over, I know there's going to be at least a few more meetings as they go through what they call the punch list. There will be a final vote to release what they call the contingency funds, the amount that they hold back from the contractors, until they are 100% satisfied that the contractors have met all of their obligations. So this is not an unimportant role, even though you're only one vote of many. So I'm hoping somebody can step up and, pick that up and finish it out. And I'm so sorry I have to leave before I got to do that.
Hey, Sue, can you reach out to Andy and see if Andy's willing to take that on? Because I'm thinking, Gopal and Dan have sort of a conflict. Barry and Sue got a lot going on. I can't do Monday nights. I don't know if Heather or Angelina want to take it on, but if not, can we reach out to Andy and see if he'd be willing to step into Irene's shoes to close out that
Would you like to
project?
take a vote on that, Mark?
Do we need to?
Yes,
All
you do.
right, then I'd entertain a motion to appoint Andy as our representative.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Poor Andy. That's what you get, Andy, for missing the meeting.
I think you'll like it.
No, I think he will. All those
He
in
will.
favor by roll call, Sue?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Irene?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Heather?
Bye.
Angelina?
I,
Gopal?
I,
Excellent, thank you. And
I
thank
think-
you for your job on that. You kept us informed
Yeah.
about that
Irene, I
process.
think the part of the old part of the library is beautiful.
Oh,
What they did to
absolutely.
preserve all that.
It
was
is
really-
nice.
Yeah,
It
the
is
way
really
they,
nice.
the way they integrated it
It's really nice.
from the inside, you would never realize, you know, that you had literally like two completely different buildings that were, you know, welded together, so
Yep.
to speak. It's gorgeous. That is going to serve us for decades, you know, as it should. But again, you know, there are still some meetings, there are still some important votes, so I want to make sure someone stays
No,
on
that's
top
why
of it.
we'll get Andy out there. Sue, do you have any updates on the school committee?
Not that, other than that they're going to be at their next meeting looking at their preliminary budget. I haven't looked at it. I'm sure it's online, but I will look at it. So, but they're going to be discussing that on the 30th.
Okay. Gopal, any updates on economic development?
yeah, there are a couple of things I want to mention. The council is thinking about having a Celebrate Grafton weekend in May. That would be a community Friday through, let me see, starts on Friday, concludes on Saturday with fireworks. So that there could be antique cars, kind of community feel, opportunity to get more business for locals
Nice.
throughout the town. It was also discussed that restaurants gift card program was a great success. They were thinking about doing it again, and I suggested that instead of just restaurants, try to see if they can open it up to a bunch of other businesses that may not have come back as much as restaurants have. Then there was a lot of discussion about a bunch of properties on sale or have been sold, talking about marketing videos and so on for certain properties.
Thank you.
Mark,
Go ahead, Sue.
I just wanted to ask Gopal, was there anybody from the EDC when they had the grand opening for MJ Market? Because
I have
usually
no
the
idea. I
economic,
didn't go there.
I beg your pardon? Nobody went there?
I don't know. I didn't go there.
Oh, okay.
So my meeting was in September. Since then, we have not had a meeting. So
Because it's been the
Okay.
practice of economic, because I was on economic development and we usually attended the grand opening
I
of all
believe they
these.
did. I know there was 2 members of the select board. I believe there was 2 or 3 members from EDC and the Economic Development Board.
I'm
Okay,
assuming John Allen would have been there. I would have been shocked
I
if
believe he was.
wasn't.
I had to
Yeah.
miss it for something else, but
okay. I just wanted to make sure
Did,
because
did they
EDC.
buy things, I hope, to add to our tax revenue?
absolutely.
Good. That's what
John
I'd like
Allen's
to
still not right. I don't know what's happening.
Barry, you should go. We'll straighten you out.
hear. Sue, any updates on
No hope.
DPW or capital?
We haven't closed out yet because we haven't had, been able to
Understood.
get a quorum to get our executive minutes
Okay.
thing. Otherwise, there was a few dollars left, but
Okay.
we didn't go over budget.
Anything on CI, on capital improvement?
We're gonna be meeting soon, I'm hoping. We looked at the capital plan. You're gonna be, you bet with the departments.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got distracted for a second.
It's okay. Capital planning, any update on capital planning?
No. Colleen's gonna start yelling at me pretty soon about it.
been quietly nagging him.
Yeah. So it's coming.
I don't
Yeah.
think anything would be quiet, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yep,
So is the capital plan gonna be submitted at the same time as the budget or after?
it's usually supposed to be submitted before the
It's
budget,
supposed to be
but
submitted before. I'm working on it.
Okay.
on the charter. I
I
just
don't know what
want,
you're doing to keep yourself busy during the day, but let's get cracking there, Evan.
I
It's
just
coming.
want to say, when he met with the department heads in August, I thought it went well. Evan thought it didn't go as well as he would like to, but all the department heads were there and talking about their projects and whatever. And I thought it was a great time for everyone to come together and to discuss it. And of course, the department heads who are very vocal were the ones who spoke up the most. But I think that as this goes along, I think the others will start contributing more too.
More of a congenial
Yes,
process than in the
yes.
past. I like that.
Yeah. We did it on Zoom, and so it loses.
Yeah.
a
Oh,
bit of-
Zoom's tough when you're not in the
Yeah.
room.
You know, you lose a little bit of that energy that I'm used to, and joking around with people and get everybody a little bit
Yep.
lighter. But it did, it went.
But it
up.
went-
So you're sitting there, you're trying to make a joke and there are 20 stone faces on
Yeah,
the screen looking
yeah,
at you.
and I don't know if they're frozen, or
Yeah.
if it's not funny.
I think it went well considering it was on Zoom, and your presentation was excellent, I thought, so.
Thank you.
All right, is there anything else that we need to talk about, Sue? Are we looking good? Our next meeting won't be until February unless something comes up and we need to get together earlier. I will report back to you all and let you know, how the search for a new member of the committee goes.
You skipped over.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
Did you notice how I skipped over that?
Yeah,
You picked up on that, huh, Barry?
Never mind.
Okay, anything else? Evan, as always, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you attending our meetings. Mary, thank you very much, and again, thank you for getting me in trouble with my accountant.
Can I make just a comment real quick? I would like us, if, when you put out the ad again for our assistant for both committees, I thought the resumes were fine, and I liked how they were delivered, but it just seems we hung on to them for so long.
Yep.
And I sent an email to Krista and asked her, I thought maybe I missed a meeting because nothing was happening. And she said I hadn't, then she contacted all of you. So I think as soon as we close those, then we should start right away, so we don't lose people again.
Yep, agreed. So
Yep.
we've corrected the issue in the process, so
Okay,
shouldn't be an issue again.
because we hung on to those for a long time.
Thank you for
Yep.
saying that.
Yep.
All right, since there's no other business, I'll declare us adjourned. Everybody have a good night.